And welcome to Desert DIY. If you are new here, my name is Corey. Today I am going to be doing the Look for Less challenge with Yami from the Latina Next Door, and she is co-hosting this challenge this month with Natalie from Design to the Nines. I will have their links and the link to the playlist in my description box down below. It's originally $60 at Kirkland's. Now I love Kirkland's, but mine's way cheaper. I'm going to be using this old white shutter that I got for free that somebody was throwing away. These H, M, and E letters that I got from Michael's for $3, and this greenery that was $1.50 at Kirkland's from Christmas clearance, and a big glue gun. So I just painted the first coat on this whole thing and realized that my camera was not recording. So I'm gonna just go over again what I did when I do the second coat, and hopefully you'll get an idea of how I did this first coat. And this is the paint that I mixed out of random paints that I had in my arsenal of craft paints. I, for some reason, didn't have brown paint, so I did like we all do when we're kids and mix all our paints together until it turns brown, and it turns out pretty well. Here you can see my paints that I'm mixing. I used red and purple at first because I thought red and purple made brown, but it really just made dark purple. So I then added some yellow in there, and the yellow really helped bring out that brown color. I ended up adding quite a bit of yellow paint in there. So I used 3 colors, which was red, purple, and yellow, to make this really awesome medium brown color. This is the color I ended up with, and I really like how it turned out. It's kind of like a light chocolate brown. Now I'm going to show you really quickly how I did this like faux wood finish on the shutter. The most important part of this process is that you're starting with a white background. So the shutter was white to begin with. That's going to help the brush strokes imitate a wood grain with that white background. So we're going to be just covering each slat with that chocolate brown color, and then you go back over it after the piece is covered and keep the brush stroke straight up and down. So you'll just cover it with paint and then go back over that same spot like you see here and brush out all the brush strokes so you have 2 long vertical brush strokes on each shutter. That helps to create that linear like wood grain look on this piece. And you can use this same method of making a faux wood finish on really any project as long as it's got some texture to it. I wouldn't recommend doing this on like a really perfectly shiny and flat surface. This shutter had chalk paint on it, I'm guessing, or just some kind of old white paint that had been weathered, so there was bumps and texture and all sorts of different dried out areas of paint and things like that. So it really helped bring a wood texture to this method that I'm using. I imagine that it still would have turned out looking like a wood grain. It just would have been less rustic looking had the shutter not already been kind of weathered. Our local Kirkland's that I usually shop at is going to be closing, and I'm super sad. But all of their stuff in the store is on sale for like 40% off. It's still a little bit pricey for my taste, which is maybe why they're closing down, is because they're more of the high-end home decor, and that's just not what the general population is able to shop for. So maybe that's why those store locations are closing in our area. But if you look online, a lot of their stuff is on sale right now. It just so happens that the shutter is not on sale. The home shutter that was $60. There is like a 20% off your total purchase, I believe, so it'll still bring it down a little bit, but this shutter ended up only costing me about $12. And craft paint is usually about 50 cents per little bottle, so if you got a purple, a red, and a yellow, it'd be about $1.50. Each letter was $3, and then the greenery was $1.50, so that brings it to around $12. It's really hard to estimate how much you're spending when you're not even using a full bottle of paint, so it really is less than $12 if I'm only counting the paint that I used in the bottle. But for somebody who's going to be buying the products to make this, it would be about $12. Here's a quick close-up of how that wood grain texture is starting to look. I was super impressed with how these brush strokes, these long linear brush strokes, created these really beautiful looking wood grain marks, and how the texture of that old weathered white paint was bubbling up and showing through in the paint that I did. Now it's time to organize my letters and get a feel for how I want to set up this sign. I'm just going to use hot glue to attach them. So I'm just gonna lay them out and figure out how I want them, and then I will use hot glue on the back of the letters and just press them down really good onto the shutter and allow that hot glue to dry before I move it. You may notice that the letter M is a little bit different than the H and the E. And that is because when I went to buy these at Michael's, they didn't have the letter M in the same font and style letter as the H and the E. So I had to buy a different font for the M. But hopefully you won't run into that issue when you go to buy it. Either way, I think it kind of adds to the character of the sign, so I enjoy it. I wouldn't change it. I'm totally happy with how this turned out. But for those of you who are maybe a little more detail oriented or like things to all be the same, then you may want to wait or buy it online and make sure you can get all three letters in the same font. So for the next part, I'm going to just be using one sprig of greenery. This greenery was part of the Christmas line for Kirkland's, so it was on sale 75% off, I believe, and it only came out to be like $1.49 a piece, so about $1.50. I'm just gonna cut off all the branches and then round them so that when I glue them down, they'll make a nice O shape for the letter O in home. And at this point, my glue gun was taking forever to heat up. Oh my gosh. If you guys know of a good glue gun that is affordable, of course, that heats up really quickly and doesn't leak. I've had problems with other glue guns in the past where they just like ooze out the hot glue the entire time that you have them setting down. And the one I have here doesn't do that, but it also doesn't heat up very quickly. So as I was getting towards the end of the glue stick that was in there, it was really difficult to push the glue through there because it just wasn't melting fast enough. Such a pain in the butt, oh my goodness. But I got it done and it was worth the wait. You can see I'm like really having to push that glue stick through to get the glue out because for some reason it just wasn't working. And I don't know if you've had the same problem with glue guns before, but for some reason when I put in a new glue stick into the back, it'll like I pull the trigger and it just like slides right off of the glue stick. I don't know how to explain it, but it doesn't push that new glue stick through very well. It just keeps slipping and slipping and slipping until way later when the glue is really, really hot. Now I'm getting done with the last piece and I just want to make sure that everything is looking cohesive, that there's no ends of the pieces showing, and no bald spots in the circle wreath O. And guys, I had so much fun doing this challenge and I just want to inspire you all at home to go out and find something that you really like and figure out a way to make it for less. There are things that are too difficult for me to make even, and I choose not to try the look for less on them. But there are so many other things out there that you see in the store and you're like, wow, that's beautiful. I think I can make that. Well, if you think you can, then you probably can. And even if you think you can't, you might be able to find something on YouTube that shows you how to make something similar, like how this sign is. So don't give up, believe in yourself, and get out there and try and do things on your own. It is so much more satisfying when you have home decor pieces in your home, on your walls, or on your shelves that you made yourself with your own bare hands, with your own creativity, and you saved money doing it. Thank you so much for watching, and if you liked what you saw today, then please don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below, and I will see you next time. Bye!